So you're thinking about moving to San Diego, but maybe you're still deciding which neighborhood makes sense for you. Well, I've lived here my whole life, and in this video, I'm taking you through my 5 favorite areas. We're going over the different lifestyles, housing prices, and all the little things that make each one stand out. So hopefully, by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to start your search. And real quick, before we get started, my name's Nenad. I'm a real estate advisor right here in San Diego. So if you have any questions about life around here, the real estate market, or really just anything else you can think of, then shoot me an email or text me directly. Now, starting things off in the number 5 spot, and that's San Marcos, California. And I gotta say, before about 2015, San Marcos wasn't really talked about much. But really, over maybe the last 5 to 10 years, it's turned into one of the best cities in all of San Diego. And a big reason why is because you're getting a ton of value for your money here. There's also a lot of really great communities, a top-rated school district, and honestly, the weather here might actually be better than by the coast. Now, just because it's a little bit cheaper around here, it doesn't mean you're missing out on that San Diego lifestyle. There's a ton of hiking trails here, and one of my personal favorite trails is the one at Double Peak. It takes about 45 minutes to get to the top, but once you're up there, you can see the ocean, all the different mountains around you, and if it's a super clear day, you'll see all the way down to Mexico. But let's say that golfing is maybe more your thing. Well, then there's a couple of really great courses at Twin Oaks and at Lake San Marcos. Also, there's a ton of parks around town for kids to just run around at, and there's lots of different sports leagues around here too. Now, one really cool part of San Marcos is San Elijo. It's basically a giant community that was built back in the 2000s, and it kind of feels like its own little town. So you've got local coffee spots, restaurants, breweries, wine bars, and right in the middle of it all is this big open park. Now, there's so many other great communities in San Marcos, and there's a pretty big range of real estate options here. So we've got condos and townhomes, both older and newer, and those are going to be in that first-time homebuyer price range of about $600,000 to $800,000. But if you want a single-family detached home, you've got a couple of different options. So option 1 is something a little bit bigger, a little bit newer, and those are going to run you about $1.1 million and up. Your second option is maybe something that's a little older or maybe needs some upgrading, and those are going to start right around $850,000. Now, before we get into the next area, if you like this video so far, make sure you hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. It really helps the channel grow and it lets me make more content just like this. All right, coming in at number 4, and this one's sitting at a much higher price point, we've got Del Mar, California. Now, if you've ever visited or spent any amount of time here, you already know that Del Mar is definitely luxury coastal living. And here in San Diego, there's really only a couple of other places where you're gonna get that. So just think incredible ocean views, big houses up in the hills, and an absolutely amazing beach. Now, even though it's a pretty exclusive area, it still gives off a little bit of that small town charm. The downtown area is filled with local shops and businesses, and there's also a few really cool and trendy restaurants. Also, a lot of people around here are super laid back, and they're out just wearing shorts and flip-flops, so it kind of feels like you're on a permanent vacation around here. But if you wanna hang out where it's a little newer, a little more modern, then you're gonna love One Paseo. There's a restaurant called Nick's here, which is easily one of my favorites, and there's so many different companies and big office buildings around One Paseo, so happy hour is always packed. Now, across the street is Del Mar Highlands Town Center, and there's a lot of different fitness studios here. So there's a few yoga options, and there's kickboxing, there's a stretch lab. So it's just a great little hub if you're into health and fitness. You can also do some shopping here, or maybe you just wanna have a bite to eat or grab a drink over at Skydeck. And honestly, there's something for everyone at this plaza. Of course, all of that comes with a big price tag. So right now, the median asking price for a detached home is $5.7 million, which for most people is way out of their budget. But if you're lucky enough to afford it, this is one of the most exclusive areas in all of San Diego. All right, for number 3 on my list, we're staying in the same general area as Del Mar, but now we're at a slightly lower price point, and that's Carmel Valley. I actually lived here for about a year or so, and it was just a really great experience. It's super clean, super safe, and everything feels new and organized. But the biggest reason my families want to move here is because it has some of the best schools in San Diego County. So we're talking Canyon Crest Academy, Pacific Trails, Carmel Del Mar, they're all right here. And what's crazy is that almost all of them are ranked within the top 20 in all of California. So if great education is a big priority for you and your family, then Carmel Valley is going to be hard to beat. Now, location-wise, you're a bit more inland than Del Mar, but you're still close to all the the business hubs like Sorrento Valley and UTC. So for shopping, there's One Paseo and Del Mar Highlands that are right nearby, but there's also the Pacific Highlands Ranch Town Center. This one's a bit more local to Carmel Valley, and there's a Trader Joe's here, a Crunch Fitness, a few different restaurants. So it's just a nice and convenient plaza for everyone that lives around here. All right, when it comes to the real estate, there's a few complexes with different condos and townhomes, but mostly what you're gonna see are these big tract style homes. Now there's an older area in Carmel Valley, and these houses were built in the last 20 to 30 years, but a lot of the other communities around here are basically brand new. And most of these newer neighborhoods are two-story homes with somewhat smaller lot sizes, but they're all really well maintained, and the amenities you get here are some of the best you'll find. There's pools, gyms, rec centers, hiking trails, basically everything you could want is right there. And if you have kids, there's pretty much always something to do. Now price-wise, it's gonna be a bit cheaper than Del Mar, but the median asking price for a detached home is right at about 2.7 million, and for condos and townhomes, we're right at about 1 million. And one thing I'll say is that the real estate market here is very competitive. A lot of young families want to move to Carmel Valley, and most of the homes that hit the market are usually sold within the first few weeks. All right, coming in at number 2 is Encinitas, California. And I gotta say, if I had to pick one place that's truly a laid-back beach lifestyle, then Encinitas is it. It's actually ranked as one of the best surf towns in the entire country, and down at Swami's Beach, there's a world-famous surf spot. It's also super chill around here, but it can still feel pretty lively if you head into the downtown area. So there's really great restaurants here, there's some nightlife options, and a ton of different places to just walk around and hang out. Now some of my go-to spots are East Coast Pizza, which has some of the best pizza in town. Then there's Panic & Coffee, which is this super cool place that used to be an old train station. And then there's the Roxy, which has live music on the weekends. Another thing I really love about Encinitas is how different all the neighborhoods are. So over in downtown Encinitas and in Leucadia, you get more of that traditional beach town atmosphere. There's little shops everywhere, people riding their bikes around, and it's just a really walkable and fun place to be. But if you want something that's a little more inland, a little more quiet, then there's neighborhoods like Encinitas Ranch. It's basically a golf course community, and you've got these really big and super manicured homes all around, and in some parts they have these amazing custom estates. But let's say you want a horse property, or maybe something with a little more land. Well, they have that too. So Livenhain is more on the outskirts of town, and it kind of feels like you're out in the countryside, but really you're only like 15 minutes away from everything. I also just love the culture in Encinitas. It kind of feels like everyone knows each other around here, and you'll end up seeing a lot of the same people around. There's also a big wellness culture here, so there's a bunch of different fitness studios, pickleball courts, hiking trails. So if you love being active, then this is a really great place. Now there's a pretty good mix of condos and townhomes here, so if you want to explore those options, you're gonna be in the $900,000 range. But if you want a detached home, then the median asking price is right around 3 million. All right, last but definitely not least, Carlsbad, California takes my number 1 spot. And honestly, when you factor in the lifestyle, the schools, all the beautiful communities, and everything you get when you buy a home over here, I really don't think there's a more well-rounded city in San Diego. You've got gorgeous beaches, a super walkable downtown area, and it's just a great mix of suburban and coastal living. Now over in Carlsbad Village, there's lots of shopping and new restaurants, local coffee spots, and there's a ton of growth still happening here. So it's a great place to spend your weekends, and some of my favorite beaches are in Carlsbad. There's also a few master plan communities, and Bressi Ranch is definitely one of the best. All the amenities are within walking distance, so shopping, parks, pools, they're all right there. There's also these amazing tree-lined streets, and you really get this small town kind of feel over here. Another thing I love about Carlsbad is that there's a little bit of everything here, and no matter what kind of lifestyle you want, you can find that perfect neighborhood. So if Bressi Ranch really isn't your thing, then there's La Costa, Aviara, or maybe Robertson Ranch, and a bunch of other places to look at. Also, staying active and being outdoors is big here. So there's many different parks, trails, high-end fitness studios and gyms, bike paths, really almost anything you can think of. And compared to Del Mar, Encinitas, and Carmel Valley, you're gonna get a lot more house in Carlsbad. The median price for a single family home is $2 million. And you've got everything from tract style to beach cottages, all the way to custom estates. Now, some of my favorite homes are up in the hills of La Costa, and they have these really amazing ocean views. There's also a ton of different condos and townhomes to choose from in Carlsbad, and those are right around $1 million. So that's it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Also, if you're thinking about buying or selling in San Diego, make sure you reach out to me directly, and don't forget to check out some of my other videos. They're all packed with a ton of information about life in San Diego. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.